All right. Y'all, we made it to 2021. I don't know how we did this, but and I don't know what that means yet to be here in 2021 with you, but it's true. We're here. So congratulations to everybody just for that simple fact that we are here. And want to say it's good to be with you. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I'm Kambria Evans, and I'm an EMDRIA approved consultant. I'm in San Jose, California, and I have a private practice, and I'm also the founder of Zero Disturbance. And through Zero Disturbance, I'm here not only to guide my fellow EMDR moms, my fellow EMDR clinicians to a place of more confidence with their EMDR clients, but also to a place of confidence with the success of your private practice. Because if I believe anything as a business owner, as a mom of twins, you deserve to be taken care of comprehensively while you take care of others, right? And I think a lot of us have felt so burnt out from 2020 as EMDR clinicians. And I'm coming here today to make this video with just a sense of like love and protection for me, for you, and everything I'm going to talk about today is going to come through that positive intention place of love and protection for us, okay? Because we have just been through a year of trauma, and we are still in trauma, right? Vaccines are rolling out. Not everyone's been vaccinated. Schools are still closed. I still have my 4-year-old twins at home in my house, which I've turned into a preschool somehow. And we're all still supporting clients with a probably higher than ever mental health demand, at least I've ever seen or heard about in my 40 years on this earth. So just really hard times. So with that being said, the topic for today's video is this question that we all hear all the time. We've been hearing it forever. And I'm seeing it now too, which is, which EMDR training is the best? Which EMDR training is the best? Okay, so which one should I do? Which one's the best? I want us to just pause for a second. Okay, because there's no doubt in my mind that we have so many talented EMDR colleagues who are offering so many different trainings, right? We have our different basic trainings, we have our different advanced trainings, and I will at some point in this video talk about what I think has been helpful for me to do for trainings. I will talk about, kind of the who's who of what trainings are out there, if you want to take that information. But before I answer that question, I want us to just pause and zoom out a little bit, right? So we have all these EMDR colleagues. They're so talented, and we have so much to learn from them, don't we? We have colleagues who talk about dissociation, attachment-focused EMDR, relational EMDR, which is kind of the same thing, addiction with EMDR, IFS, somatic experiencing with EMDR, ego states, all of these valuable trainings, right? But I want us to stop asking this question of which training is the best or which one should I do, okay? Because it's the wrong question, and here's why. Or rather, it's an incomplete question, right? I want you, having been through all this trauma and still in trauma, to zoom out and ask yourself the question under the question, okay? I want you to ask questions, especially right now that we're kind of hopefully at the end of COVID. We're kind of going through this dark tunnel that we've been in for almost a year, and maybe we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel where things might feel safe or might feel normal or might feel functional, right? And when we're in this place, please do not ask yourself, what's the best training for EMDR? Okay? Instead, I want you to notice what's underneath that, right? I want to just, go on a side note for a second, but it's related, I promise. I can't tell you how many emails or Facebook posts I've seen from other EMDR colleagues or other therapists or other coaches who have blasted Facebook, blasted my inbox with these questions of what are your goals for 2021? What are your goals? What do you want to do? Right? This is kind of in the same vein of like, what's the best training, right? Because there's a tone deafness to that, isn't it? Like we would never, let's say we were there on the scene after Pearl Harbor was bombed. We would never go up to those traumatized people who are still in the trauma and say, well, what are your goals right now? Right? We would say things like, how can I help you? What do you need? Or you've just been through this horrible thing. You're still kind of in it. What are your dreams right now? Right? I am not making any goals this year. I just want everyone to know that. I'm making 0 goals because I have just been through trauma and I'm still in trauma and you're in the same boat with me. Okay? So if you have a part of you that is asking, what's the best training and what are my goals? Please I'm inviting you to soften that a little bit and ask yourself, what do I need right now? How can someone help me where I am to either feel okay or be who I want to be? What are my dreams? Is a different kind of question, isn't it? Okay. So, it kind of reminds me of when people are younger and maybe less assertive or more insecure, and they ask a lot of people what they should do, right? They ask people, who should I marry? Or what job should I take, right? Which is giving your power away for someone else to decide what your life is going to look like, be like, feel like, and giving away your sense of self almost, right? My hope for myself, my hope for all of my precious EMDR colleagues who are, doing like God's work right now through this pandemic, you deserve to ask yourself a different question. Right? The question under the question, from a place of knowing that you're not going to give away your power to have someone else tell you what to do, right? That you get to trust yourself to decide about your choices, who you spend your time with, how you invest your time, and what that means for who you will become and what you want your life to look like and feel like. Okay? Again, this is coming back to one of the values I have at Zero Disturbance, which is you need to be taken care of comprehensively while you take care of others. And this is where I think a lot of EMDR consultants and trainers are falling short in talking to us in a comprehensive way about our choices. So I'm putting this out there for 2021 as a different way of thinking about the questions we're going to ask ourselves this year. Because last year, we got clear on a lot of stuff, didn't we? Right? I will speak for myself. I got really clear on who people were and who they weren't. I got really clear on what I wanted and didn't want, what I will tolerate and not tolerate. I got really clear on wanting space to hear myself think. Okay, before the pandemic, we had a lot of people talking at us, didn't we? Lots of clients, lots of mentors, lots of trainings, and I've noticed that one of the blessings that's come out of this year has been space to hear myself think, which sometimes was pretty uncomfortable. But I got to have conversations with myself in a really deep way. And I think that's something that we can take with us as we move forward, right? So instead of asking other people, who should I be? What should I do? What's the best? I want to just bring it back to you. I want you to bring it back to you, because my hope for all of us is that we will take in information and recommendations, of course, but we will have a sense of knowing who we are, who we want to be, what we need now, and what we want our life to look like and feel like, which means how we want our families to look and feel, how we want our businesses, for those of us in private practice, how we want our business to look and feel, okay? So when I was in my previous career, I was a director over at Stanford Medical School. I was a director of education and quality improvement. Now, the education part is self-explanatory. I was researching, making curriculum, teaching, evaluating the impact of the curriculum on healthcare workers and medical students and faculty. And the quality improvement part was really fun because I was essentially tasked with figuring out how to make systems more efficient, and work better for people. Okay, that was communication systems, that was just processes in the hospital, on teams, right? And one of the really cool things that we did when we had identified a problem in the system or a problem in the process was we would ask the 5 whys. Okay, now I did not invent this. I cannot take credit for this. This is something that was developed with Toyota. And essentially they asked 5 whys to get to the root of the problem. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I'll do 5 whys on a busy schedule for January because I'm sure all of us are slammed, right? The problem is that I'm really tired and burnt out. Why? Well, because my schedule is just really full with all these clients needing mental health services. Why? Well, because they called me and they emailed me, even though I said I was full, and I kept taking them on. Well, why? Why'd that happen? Well, because I was worried that if they didn't, get services with me, they wouldn't get any help. And I was afraid that they would be left without any help. Well, why? Well, I guess it's because I'm still working through my own codependency issues around trusting that they'll figure out how to get help, or realizing it's not my responsibility to kind of do that for them because I'm just one person and I have to have boundaries. Well, why? Well, I guess probably because I should probably go check in with my own therapist about how to make boundaries or defenders for myself during a really hard time. Okay? So going through the 5 whys gets us to the root of the problem, which is exactly what we do in EMDR, isn't it? The brain takes us deeper and deeper to the root, to the touchstone memory where we learned something or decided something, given what we had around us in terms of support and context, right? So my invitation to you is, instead of asking what's the best EMDR training or who should I marry or what job should I have, right? Instead of doing that, I want to invite you to do an exercise that is an adaptation of the 5 whys, okay? Which is an exercise I'm calling, and then what? Okay? So if you have an idea that you want to do a training on ego states or dissociation, right? I want you to ask yourself, okay, I make this choice and follow it, and then what? Well, and then I'll know more about ego states and dissociation. Okay, and then what? And then I'll help more of my clients. Okay, and then what? I'll help more clients, and so I can have more space in my schedule. Okay, and then what? If I have more space in my schedule because I've helped my clients, then I can spend more time with my kids or spend more time walking outside because I'm sitting all day on Zoom and virtual sessions. Okay, and then what? If I'm walking outside more and have more space, I'm going to feel like a person again. And I'm going to feel some connection with myself and nature, and I'm going to feel like I have a little bit of hope and sense of self. Okay, I want to invite you to get to the root of your choices and who you are, what you need right now. If I want nothing else for you besides just health and safety from the pandemic, I want you to know this about who you are. Because knowing this, having this conversation with yourself, right, of following potential choices with the and then what, gets you to Not a goal, but a dream. You see the difference? A goal is, I want to do 5 EMDR advanced trainings this year so I can be the best. Right? And I'm guilty of falling into that trap. I have done that many years in my EMDR career. I've been to lots of trainings, right? But I'm not that person now, having been through COVID. I'm coming from a different position of wanting to ask myself, well, what are my dreams for 2021? Not goals. Goals are surface level, dreams are underneath, right? And then what? And then what? What will happen then? And then how will you feel? What will you have? How will that serve you? Okay? So any training or any invitation you have, I would invite you to try the and then what exercise. And if you're feeling curious, adventurous, if you're noticing a problem, either in your practice or with a client even, you can do this with clients, you can try the 5 whys, right? I do the 5 whys with clients. I mean, naturally it happens through the EMDR process, but I do it with them when I do case conceptualization. And when we think about treatment planning, I do the and then what? Because I don't want to just know with a client, I want my anxiety to go away. That's surface level. That's a goal, right? What's under that? Okay, your anxiety goes away, and then what? Well, then I'll feel more confident that I'm worthy of having a relationship. Okay, and then what? And then maybe I'll try to date again after my divorce. Beautiful. And then what? And then I'll meet someone who respects me, and I can have a partner that I can trust. Beautiful. And then what? So, and then what? The 5 whys are 2 things I would invite you to try or ask yourself instead of posting on Facebook or asking your colleagues, what's the best choice, right? How many clients should I see? What's the best training? Okay, does that make sense? So, given that all of that is true, I do want to say that I'm going to offer my experience and my recommendation, having been in the EMDR world now for about 5 years, gone to many, many trainings because I was kind of in this hamster wheel of, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this to get to the place, whatever that place is. Really, it was the place of just trusting myself more as an EMDR clinician. I will say that, I've trained with Dolores Mascara. I've trained under Andrew Leeds Sonoma Institute. I've trained with Laurel Parnell. I've trained with Deanie Laliotis. I've trained with Maggie Phillips. And I have learned so much from them. I'm so grateful. I've trained with other people too. I've done brain spotting and flash with Phil Manfield. I want to say, I really admire all of the, I've said this before, I admire all of the EMDR experts, the OGs of the EMDR world. I admire Deanie's loyalty to Shapiro's standard protocol, right? When you work with her, you get to know the standard protocol in and out, right? And you respect that. I love Laurel's innovation, right? She's really taken, I think even like in the early 90s, she kind of branched off from Francine and decided, really I think was the first person to say out loud and follow through with this idea of having attachment-focused EMDR or relational EMDR, really was born, I think, out of Laurel's programs and curriculum and resourcing ideas that she has. And she's given us so much around resourcing and attachment work. Dolores has this incredible expertise in dissociation. I trained with her many years ago in Denver, and, she is also an innovator. She has created and evolved what Francine started for us back in, the late 80s. So if you think about this, this happened in I think 1989 was Shapiro's first article about EMDR. I was 9 years old. So EMDR is only 31 years old. Okay. It's like a young adult. And it has a lot more evolution to go and a lot more growing to go. And I think it's important to respect and understand how it was born and where it came from and the respect around that. And also it's important, I would say, in my opinion, to understand how it's evolved and to understand the evolution of it and to trust yourself with your clinical reasoning skills to say, this training actually doesn't make sense to me or doesn't fit with my experience with the clients, or this does, right? Because we're surrounded by innovation with EMDR right now, and innovation is not a bad thing. Things have to evolve, right? It's just what happens. But to trust yourself to say, I might try this training and see if it fits with my experience with my clients. Not because it's the best or it's definitely going to fit with clients or with you. Make sense? I also want to give a shout out, Maggie Phillips. I did a ego states intensive training with her, and she just was like masterful at doing parts work. Just incredible, right? And I have always respected Andrew Leeds' approach to his very academic approach to teaching EMDR. He's very research-based, academic. So we have all of these kind of, and there's others. There's so many other leaders. These are just the ones that I have experienced in my time doing EMDR trainings and accumulating knowledge. I will say that, all of these contributions are incredible. And as I move forward, and I'm inviting you to do the same thing, I want you to think about not just what training will you choose, but who will train you, right? The personality of that person, the way they treat you, your experience of them, the way they look at you, right? And my hope is that you would have a mentor, a trainer, a teacher who's going to look at you with warmth and joy and excitement about your interests, and also gently pointing out to you places where you might continue to grow, right? But you have to answer that. Like, what, not just what content will I learn, but who will teach me that? Who will be my teacher as I'm learning this important information that might help my practice or help me as a person, okay? I want to say that if I had to go back and do it all over again, given what I know now, I would probably choose to do my basic training with EMDR consulting. And here's why. I appreciate, so Roy was with Francine. He was one of her senior trainers for many, many years. And I think it was in 2012 or 2013, he branched out and created EMDR Consulting, where he made his own curriculum, his own interpretation of what Francine was doing, and he evolved it, right? And this is a really comprehensive training. I have not gone through it myself, but I know colleagues who are trainers with EMDR Consulting, and I've heard really good things about it. So it's comprehensive, it's affordable. I just want to say, we're all virtual right now. So people that were charging a lot of money for EMDR trainings before, it made sense to pay for the overhead and all this. But I'm hoping that a lot of these EMDR trainers will notice that they don't have the same overhead costs of running out a hotel ballroom anymore, and that they would adjust some pricing around that. But EMDR Consulting has really fair pricing, and they also have consultation available afterwards. So if you're looking for advanced trainings, I would invite you to do the and then exercise with yourself and see what it is you're wanting to learn and how that's going to help you with where you are now and what you're needing. So I hope that feels helpful to you. I will mention that, before you do any additional trainings, I do want to invite you to check out the lesson plan, okay? This is my interpretation of how I have consolidated all the things I have learned and put them into one course that makes sense to me. I definitely felt fire hosed after basic training. I felt overwhelmed. Just the way it was taught was just like, here's all this content for days and days and days. That's not actually how our brains learn best. So I have consolidated that overwhelm that I experienced and made this course called the Lesson Plan. You can check it out on the Zero Disturbance website at ZeroDisturbance.com. And I'll be releasing that probably at the end of January to help clinicians feel like they can kind of take this fire hose and digest it into a really easy to understand and use course. So that will be available at the end of the month. If you're interested, check it out. But it's kind of all the pearls from the last 10 years that I've been a therapist and the last 5 years that I've been only doing EMDR. Have done over 5,000 EMDR sessions with clients and now doing only EMDR intensives with clients as a consultant. So also, if you like free resources, if you like what I'm saying, if you like the videos, also come over to ZeroDisturbance.com because I do have a free resources tab. I think I have 6 videos on there. I have 6 downloads. You're welcome to check all of those out if you haven't already. So I want to just say, again, be gentle with yourself. We're still in this trauma. Do things that feel easy. Do things that feel loving. Check in with yourself about where you are, what you're needing. And as always, it's been great to be with you, and I will see you soon next time. Take care.